I was too shocked that Tim.
Okay, I just believe that right now the way that things are going in our country is really scary. And I personally believe that all people deserve to be treated equally and fairly. And I don't believe that he was at all. Mohsen Mahdawi, I may have said his name wrong, I apologize. I believe that he deserves to be free because he didn't do anything wrong. He was speaking up for people who need to be spoken up for. And that's a job that I believe that we all have. So, yeah, that's why I'm here today.
I'm just so sad I'm so sad and angry about people being taken off the streets. I'm at the point where I will be willing to get myself arrested if need be. This is too much that's going on now.
Hi, my name is Sal Millichamp, and I can't believe that there's no due process and they're kidnapping people. If there's no due process, they're kidnapping people. And this is our country. And if we don't speak up, our democracy will disappear.
Country of law and order, and I feel like our country is not following the law by refusing to give people due process, kidnapping people off the street, changing our history. It's messed up.
Hi. Imagine you have forces that's killing your neighbor, your friend, your family, and you have no right to say a word. What society we live in? Doing right things, it's against the law, and doing wrong things, it's good things in this society. No, we cannot never accept this. Done. Thank you.
I think I'm here today partly because I watched the video of the CBS interview with Mohsen, and it was incredibly moving. This is a man who watched his best friend shot in front of him. And the message that he has been sharing is that he favors freedom and peace for all people. So it's certainly Palestinians, but also Israelis. This is not a one-sided message that he's promoting. And I think that the lawlessness of his arrest is deeply, deeply shocking.
Okay, well, we're here taking a stand for the rule of law and for justice and for to end the genocide in Palestine and to make sure that people realize that this is happening right here in Vermont, in Burlington, and that we are implicated in this breakdown in the rule of law and in this assault upon people who really are powerless or are disempowered from standing up and opposing this. So we're taking a stand because we happen to have the privilege of our citizenship and our white privilege, which allows us to, to freely stand in front of the federal building and say that we are opposed to this.
Hi, I'm Claire. I'm here to honor Mohsen and his good work and speak for free speech and the ability to stand up against atrocity.
Hi, I'm Paul Fleckenstein from the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation, and I'm here today to support the free speech resolution going to the Burlington City Council. The most important point about this resolution is that free speech in the U.S. cannot be separated from U.S. bipartisan support for Israeli apartheid and genocide. There are 10,000 Palestinian political prisoners languishing in Israel's apartheid jails. Estimates are that 200,000 Palestinians have been murdered by Israel in Gaza, which remains under siege and famine conditions. Apartheid-free community has always argued that what happens in Palestine doesn't stay there, but boomerangs back to the U.S. That's why we have to defend the humanity of Palestinians, to defend free speech. An injury to one is an injury to all. So I hope everyone can support the resolution at the City Council this Monday. We're rallying at 5:30 and hope to see people there.
Here today to fight for not just Mohsen Mahdawi, but for everyone who speaks out for freedom of speech. People are fighting for freedom to stop the war, and we're getting arrested, we're getting deported, we're getting abducted. This has got to stop. We're angry, we're frustrated with our political officials who are not standing up, yet these people who are getting arrested are standing up and doing the right thing, and we have people in government that can't even do the right thing. Thank you.
Not here, not in Vermont. Free Mohsen, free Rumesa, free Mahmoud, free them all. The Trump administration is targeting Palestine solidarity activists and Palestinians as their first line of attack on all our democratic rights. Once they take Palestinians down, they take us all down. We will not let them take Palestinians down in our state, in our country, and in our world. The only way to defend our rights is to defend Palestine solidarity activists' rights. When anybody is under attack, we're all under attack, because we know in the slogan of the labor movement, an injury to one is an injury to all. And we know that solidarity, without exception, is the only way to win. If Palestine solidarity activists are under attack, we will defend their freedom of speech, right to assemble, right to protest, right to encampment. Their rights are our rights. We defend everybody. That is the only way we can win the collective liberation of everybody in the United States, and that is the only way we can win the collective liberation of Palestine. Next up, we have Alyssa, who's the co-MC with me today.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. We need every single one of you out here right now. My name is Alyssa Breda, and I am a proud member of the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation. Just like Ashley was saying, you can't exclude any form of free speech, like speaking out against genocide. Right. We can't have free speech rights if that means you can't speak out against genocide in Palestine. So they go hand in hand, and we have to protect the free speech rights, including Palestine, and especially Palestine. Today we have an incredible list of speakers out here for you all. Okay. And we are going to start with our very own state senator, Becca White. Okay, I'm trying not to get a reverb on you. My name is Becca White. Where are my Upper Valley people at? Woo! drive, and I know why you made it. It's the same reason I'm here today, and that's because our friend, our community member, and a man who you're all here today to support was taken last week by men who wore masks and hoods and would not identify themselves even when I introduced myself as a state senator. Yeah. They did this because they were ashamed of their actions. They did this because they know that the arc of history bends towards justice, yes, and that their behavior is unacceptable. And you being here today proves moreover that it's unacceptable. And I hope that if you're here today, that as we continue to experience the oppression of our people being taken, what was it, 8 more people were taken by ICE just yesterday? That we are going to stop it here in Vermont. We are going to stop it here in Vermont, and we are stopping it now. It does not go any further than Vermont. I want to share just 2 things that Mohsen has imparted on us with friends who have visited him while he has been detained. The first is that he believes that the struggle of those who are also being detained alongside him is very interconnected, and that those individuals who do not have access where English is not their first language are just as much at risk, if not more, than him. That is what he wanted to share with you. The second thing I want to share is that Mohsen in our community has been a bridge builder. He has been a person who has connected the Palestinian experience for many Vermonters who will never go to Palestine, who may not meet another person who is Palestinian. But he was able to communicate with empathy and kindness and peace his own perspective and lived experience. And what he has taken from that and has shared with all of us on numerous occasions is a commitment to nonviolence and to peace. So I ask that we all do a small activity today. And if you're not comfortable, I respect that, but I ask those who are, especially those among us who come from privileged spaces, to do this. If you wouldn't mind putting your hand on your heart with me, I ask you to make a pledge. Please repeat after me. I pledge nonviolence. I pledge nonviolence. I pledge peaceful demonstration. I pledge peaceful demonstration. I pledge to protect the most vulnerable in my community. I pledge to protect the most vulnerable in my community. Thank you. Let's commit and hold each other accountable to that, because we will see that there will be individuals who will try to break that pledge, but we together can hold each other accountable to peaceful civil disobedience like we're doing today. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all the Windsor County folks who drove up. And again, that's all I have to say. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Becca, and supporting Mohsen and free speech in Palestine. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Mohsen now!
Free, free Mohsen now!
Free, free Mohsen now!
Free, free Mohsen now!
All right, next up we have someone who is a beloved community member, someone I feel grateful to know and call a friend, someone who has been a pillar in this coalition and in this movement for us to look up to his resilience and steadfastness and humility. We have Wafiq Faour with Vermonters for Justice in Palestine and a member of the Coalition for Palestinian Liberation.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up when we ask you to show up. And we're humbled that you showed up. We have to straight certain kind of ideas going on about Mohsen. We are here, yes, calling for a free Mohsen, But some people, they think there is two parties. Some people, they think if we don't say Palestine and Mohsen in one sentence, we are helping Mohsen upstairs here in the court. Some people, they say if we keep saying Mohsen, he is a Buddhist, but not Muslim, we are helping Mohsen to be accepted on this community. And other party, it says we are using Mohsen as a vehicle for Palestine. Neither one is a truth.
That's right.
Neither one is a truth. We are here to stand up with what Mohsen stood up for.
That's right.
So as a community for Mohsen, you have to preserve what is Mohsen about. He's a Muslim. He's a Palestinian.
That's right.
And he stood with the Palestinian people.
That's right.
And for us to stand up here, we have to say what is the crime United States government, federal government, claiming that Mohsen committed. Because I, as a Palestinian American, want to repeat that. And if they think I am a criminal, they come and take me. Mohsen said, no to occupation. What do you say?
No to occupation.
Mohsen said, no to genocide. What do you say?
No to genocide.
Mohsen said, no to apartheid. What do you say?
No to apartheid.
Mohsen said, free Palestine. What do you say?
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Thank you.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Mohsen.
Free Mohsen.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Mohsen.
Free Mohsen.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Free Mohsen.
Free Mohsen.
Next up, we have a special guest, Simon Dennis, who is going to be reading a letter that Mohsen wrote from jail. Think about the history of letters from jail. Mahmoud Khalil wrote a letter from jail protesting the Trump administration and demanding freedom of speech, right to assembly, and right to protest, and a free Palestine. This is in the tradition of Martin Luther King's letter from the Birmingham jail. And we have Simon here today to read Mohsen's letter from a Vermont jail. Please give it up to Simon.
Thank you, Leslie. So it is my distinct honor to convey this message from Mohsen to all of you here today. May the voice of Mahmoud, Ramesa, and Mohsen not be silenced, but rather be amplified. On April 14th, 2025, which marked the second day of Passover, with its own significance to Jewish liberation, I was robbed of the right to liberty as forces of injustice kidnapped me during my naturalization interview, denying me the right to citizenship and deeming my dream incompatible with their version of the American dream. The Department of Homeland Security orchestrated a honey trap, offering me a long-awaited appointment for citizenship, not knowing they were trapping themselves until they missed the flight by 9 minutes. The flight that was supposed to steal me away like thieves in the middle of the day from Burlington to Louisiana. Apparently, speaking my dream threatens theirs, such that they want to silence and deport me. But I have a dream like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s, a dream that is not predicated on the suffering of others, a dream that is contrary to the nightmare of injustice and war, past and present, a dream that speaks of healing and pain, lightness and darkness, love and fear. I dream of justice and peace, A dream shaped by the nightmares of my inner child who was born a third-generation refugee in the Al-Farah camp in the West Bank under the Israeli apartheid regime. A child who buried his own brother at the age of 8, who witnessed an Israeli soldier killing his best childhood friend, Hamida, in front of his eyes, who lost his uncle Thayer and walked in his funeral procession instead of celebrating his own birthday. I have a dream of a future of peace for all children to live free of fear and trauma. I dream of a Palestinian child chasing an Israeli child on the Mediterranean coast in laughter as their feet splash the water and leave fading footsteps behind. The American government wrongfully accuses me of undermining the U.S. foreign policy goal of halting anti-Semitism as a reason for deporting me, based on views I have expressed that the government does not like. My crime is simply being a human being whose nature is to empathize and reject the killing of other humans. Yes. I am a human whose heart aches as I see my childhood nightmare, the murder of thousands of Palestinian children being live streamed. Yes. I am a human who grieves the pain of losing dozens of family members since October 7th between the West Bank and Gaza, including my first cousin. They simply want to stop me being a human and not have a voice. But conflating anti-war protests with anti-Semitism is a betrayal of Jewish suffering over the centuries. The government and the Columbia administration are gaslighting the American Jewish community and the rest of the country. That's right. That's right. By manufacturing lies, they are serving the American and Israeli war machine, which is endangering not just the Palestinian people who are facing genocide and living under an apartheid order, but also the future of American Jews and the existence of Israelis in historic Palestine. Yes. The war must be stopped. Yes. International law must be respected. Yes. A just diplomatic resolution must follow. Yes. A judge's order forced ICE to keep me in Vermont, the state I call home. The agents apologized in advance, then handcuffed me despite the judge's order, chained my hands to my waist, and then shackled my feet. I jokingly said while taking short steps, "This is how I do walking meditation." I was diverting my thinking from the helpless Palestinian prisoners who were raped and murdered while shackled just like me. Breathe in love, breathe out fear, I told myself as we drove away. In cell 38, where I spent my first night, a flashlight peeks through the darkness as the night guard does his routine check. An image of my uncle Abed flashes in my memory as I remember the permanently bloody eye behind his sunglasses, another story of oppression and torture in the Israeli prison. That first night I became aware that I am now connected to my grandfather, to my father and uncles, and to my cousins who also experienced unjust imprisonment. I prayed for the future of children, that they might not have such an experience as fourth-generation Palestinian refugees. As I fell asleep, I thought of MLK's famous quote, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that." In the morning, I was watching the sunrise from the prison window and realized that the light that shines through the barred windows is larger in size than the window's frame and way brighter than the shadows of the window bars. I thought of the Gazan children who survived and have no windows or homes left. I sent them and their parents a prayer of forgiveness As I stared at the horizon, I am in prison, but not imprisoned because my spirit is free. A free spirit illuminates the darkness of fear with imagination and surrenders only to love. It is a spirit that sees the humanity of everyone, including its oppressors. Punitive justice will not make us safer, even if we ship prisoners to Mars, much less to El Salvador. The pain of one is the pain of all, and to heal our pain, we must strive for restorative justice rooted in compassion and empathy for this country, for Palestinians and Israelis, and for humanity. My freedom is interlinked with that of Marwan Barghouti, Palestine's Mandela, uniting our people and leading us to peace with the Israelis. My freedom is interlinked with Rumeysa or Ozturk's freedom to complete her PhD.
That's right.
And Mahmoud Khalil's freedom to witness the birth of his son. Our freedom will not be complete without the freedom of Israelis from their own fear and trauma, a collective liberation from Israel's oppressive system.
That's right.
To my people in the United States, to my people in Palestine, I hear your voices protesting for me. I see your tears flowing from the pain of oppression, and I feel your love echoing through my heart. This struggle is not about me, nor is it about the democracy of this country alone, nor is it only about justice in Palestine. This struggle is about the future of our humanity.
That's right. That's right.
It is the fight between love and fear. I ask you to be kind, empathetic, and to act from love, especially for those who may act as enemies. I call upon my spiritual teachers, the Dalai Lama and Pope Francis, to pray together along with other spiritual leaders for justice and peace. Today is Easter Sunday, which marks my 6th day in prison. It reminds me of Jesus' tolerance and love, bearing in mind that he identified with the oppressed. I pose the question, if Jesus had to choose a nationality, which would he choose?
Palestine! Palestine! Palestine!
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Words from a Vermont jail by a Palestinian, by a Palestine solidarity activist, somebody who's been imprisoned by the Trump administration for the crime of free speech for Palestine. Next up, we have Salam, who's a family member of Mohsen's. Give it up for Salam.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here for Mohsen. We will not give up on Mohsen. My name is Salam Odi, and Mohsen has been like a son for me. We both come from the same background, same city. We both were oppressed and lived under occupation, and born and raised under occupation. We both lost family members, and we know how it's like to be oppressed. This is a nightmare. I am in disbelief this is happening to this beautiful young man who loves freedom, who fights for the freedom for everybody, who fought for the freedom of speech. He had done nothing wrong. All what he had done is bring people together, bring Jews, Christians, and Muslims together, bring love. Mohsen never talked about hate. He never hated anybody. He knew how to love. He spoke the language of love, justice, and fairness. Let's free Mohsen. Don't give up on Mohsen. We love you, Mohsen. We're here for you. We will not let you go. We love you. Thank you so much, Salam. We will not give up on Mohsen. We will not give up on Mohsen!
We will not give up on Mohsen!
We will free Mohsen!
We will free Mohsen!
We will free them all!
We will free them all!
Okay. So, while Wafiq was speaking earlier, we had our UVM student contingent come down that maybe you all heard chanting. So we have UVM here. Give it up for UVM students and all our local students. I know we have some Middlebury students. Our students are under attack, and we need to stand with them as well. All right. Next up, we have a member of an integral organization for the liberation of Jews and Palestinians alike, because one cannot be free without the other. Give it up for Gabby from Jewish Voice for Peace.
Thank you. Good morning, my friends. It is an honor to speak with you here today as a Jewish Vermonter who dreams of safety and freedom for all of us. Yes. Jewish Voice for Peace calls for the immediate release of Mohsen Mahdawi and for the release of everyone who has been kidnapped and detained by ICE, no matter their immigration status. We are here today because we stand firmly in the truth that the use of secret police to surveil, kidnap, detain, extradite, and disappear those who dare to speak out in dissent against oppressive institutions is unjust and anti-democratic. As I stand here with you today, I am also standing firmly in my Jewish heritage. I remember the horrors that my ancestors faced in Europe, and I know deep in my bones how this game is played. First, a marginalized group is scapegoated to prepare us to accept state violence as the new norm. And then that violence spreads until anyone can be a target. The only way to stop it is to refuse to let anyone be a target.
That's right!
Mohsen was abducted on the pretext that his role as an organizer in the pro-Palestinian movement at Columbia University was evidence of his anti-Semitism. But hear Mohsen's words when quoting MLK. To be anti-Semitic is unjust. And the fight for freedom of Palestine and the fight against anti-Semitism go hand in hand because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Mohsen is a guiding light for all of us who are kind, for all of us who are gentle, and for all of us who refuse to allow others to be the victims of our own worst nightmares. Mohsen's deep political commitment to coexistence makes plain what a fallacy it is to claim that any of this violence perpetuated and perpetrated by the state is in service of the Jewish community. But it is not because Mohsen is special that he deserves his freedom. It is because he is a human being. That's right. It is because all of us deserve freedom, because all of us have the right to speak, because all of us have the right to tell the truth about Palestine. That's right. I want to speak in particular now to my Jewish community here in Vermont. We may not always agree, but I know in my heart that we long for peace. We may have different ideas about what that looks like, or visions of how to get there, but right now we must recognize the fascism that looms before us and stand side by side to oppose it for the sake of all of us. Our collective safety can only exist in our solidarity with one another. We must continue to rally around Mohsen, Romeza, Mahmoud, so many others, because what this government is willing to do to them, they will be willing to do to all of us. Our safety will only be assured when we join hands in this wide coalition and declare, you cannot do it to any of us. Our Our movement must be steadfast, and it must grow and grow. Reach out to your neighbors and bring them here. Reach out to your legislators and remind them constantly that we will not rest until ICE is out of Vermont and out of this country that belongs to us. Let us continue to show up for justice together. Let us not allow our speech to be stifled. Free Mohsen, free Palestine, free us all.
Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Rumesa now!
Free Rumesa now!
Free Mahmoud now!
Free Mahmoud now!
Free them all now!
Free them all now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Rumesa now!
Free Rumesa now!
Free Mahmoud now!
Free Mahmoud now!
Free them all now!
Free them all now!
One of the horrors in U.S. society is mass incarceration. And the Trump administration is using that barbaric institution to throw Palestinians and Palestine solidarity activists into the dungeons of the United States of America. When we say free them all, we mean it. Nobody should be in a dungeon. Not Palestinians, not anybody. We need a society free of dungeons. In that spirit, we next have Lo and Maggie from Free Her, Vermont, one of the campaigning organizations to end mass incarceration. Give it up for Lo and Maggie.
Hello all. I want to start with a chant, hearing from Salam that Mohsen was grounded in love. We want him to know that we love him up there, that we're standing with him in solidarity, even as we're raging against ICE, we're raging against Zionism, so we want to let him know. So we're going to do, we love you, 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 we love you.
We love you! We love you!
So, I'm here, so it's totally up like not a long time. I'm here as an organizer with Free Her, an abolitionist organization struggling against prison, struggling specifically at this time for women incarcerated at the South Burlington prison, and against the state's plans for new prisons, starting with the women's prison at Essex. So Mohsen Mahdawi has been incarcerated at the prison in St. Albans. Just some history, this prison was opened in the late 60s as a youth center with no locked doors. It was touted as a place where people can grow. Not long after, it became one of the main men's prisons in Vermont, a locked prison. And now we're seeing that is one of the main places where ICE, after they abduct men, is holding folks. Shame! Well, we don't know for sure where and if Rumesa will be held. It is likely if she comes to Vermont, she will be held at the South Burlington prison. So again, these are the places that ICE is abducting and detaining people in Vermont. This prison, when opened, was touted by the Burlington Free Press as the most progressive prison in the U.S. Look at it now. So as we stand out here in solidarity with Mohsen, we share this to highlight the ways that any new prison, any prison expansion, any new beds will inevitably serve to escalate the state violence we're seeing right now against those fighting for Palestine, like Mohsen, against migrant farm workers here in Vermont, as we saw yesterday, with 8 farm workers, again, being incarcerated at the St. Albans prison. And we will continue to see any new prisons, any new expansion as escalation of state violence against all of those, the dominant groups, whether it's white people, whether it's wealthy people, whether it's Zionism, deem as a threat. Okay, I'm going to pass it off to my comrade, but I had a bunch more. I want to just name the ties to U.S. imperialism here in Vermont. It's touted as like this progressive anomaly. I want to just share that the DOC commissioner, before he came here, Nick Demmel, was in the CIA on clandestine operations for 7 years. He is an expert in counterinsurgency. He is an expert in state repression. Palestine is an abolitionist issue. Palestinian prisoners are on the front lines of the struggle for Palestinian liberation. Israel has criminalized Palestinian resistance and existence, with over 1 in 5 Palestinian women and 2 in 5 Palestinian men being locked up at some point in their life. As abolitionists here in the belly of the beast, we stand in solidarity with Palestinians held hostage in the occupiers' prisons and with the people who have been trapped in an open-air prison in Gaza for over 15 years. Free Palestine.
Free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Mohsen, free them all!
Free Mohsen, free them all!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Okay, next up, we have Jean Bergman, our one of our progressive city councilors who has been an unwavering support to our coalition and to our Apartheid-Free Communities pledge. And we also have Paul Fleckenstein, who is a leader in our Apartheid-Free Communities movement, to speak about a free speech resolution that is coming up at the Burlington City Council next Monday. Thank you, guys.
I have one question. Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
Thank you. These assaults on our exercise of free speech in solidarity with Palestine are the tip of the spear that is piercing the heart of our democracy. If we cannot defend free speech, if we don't allow the actual voices of those being repressed to be heard. So we are here to amplify those voices.
That's right.
We are here as an act of solidarity and empathy, especially for Mohsen, so he knows that we hear him and that the echo of his voice will bound down the streets of our city and into the hearts and minds of people in all of our Vermont towns and cities.
That's right.
On Monday night, the Burlington City Council will vote on a resolution placing the city on the side of freedom and justice, on the side of the fundamental right of free speech and association that are under attack by the forces of fascism. This is the next step in what promises to be a long and undulating struggle. I hope to see you there on Monday and throughout the path that we take. Free Mohsen, free them all.
Free Mohsen, free them all.
Hi all, great to see you. I'm Paul Fleckenstein from the Apartheid-Free Working Group of the Coalition. A crucial point when we go into Monday in this resolution is that we cannot separate the defense of freedom of speech from U.S. support, from bipartisan support for Israeli apartheid and genocide.
That's right.
There are 10,000 Palestinian prisoners languishing in Israeli apartheid jails. Estimates are that upwards of 200,000 Palestinians have been murdered by Israel in Gaza, which remains under siege and under famine conditions.
Shame!
The apartheid-free community movement has always maintained that what happens in Palestine boomerangs back to the United States and here.
Oh yeah.
We cannot separate the defense of Palestinians and allow them to be dehumanized and protect our rights at home. An injury to one is an injury to all. Hope you to see on Monday night, 5:30, we're rallying in front of City Hall, and you can get information on the resolution from these quarter sheets that people are handing out. Thank you.
Hey, hey, ho, ho, apartheid has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, apartheid has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, Apartheid has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Apartheid has got to go. One of the key things to understand is the attack on Palestine solidarity activists, and specifically Palestinians, is an attack on the labor movement in this country. Mahmoud and Rumeysa are both members of unions. An attack on Palestinians and Palestine solidarity activists is an attack on all unions, an attack on all workers. And that's the spirit of the U.S. labor movement at its best, upholding our slogan, an injury to one is an injury to all. So I'm proud to introduce Theo Wieland from the Democratic Socialists of America, Labor for Palestine, and the May Day Organizing Committee. Give it up to Theo.
A lot of people I'm talking to right now are feeling fear, uncertainty, doubt, and despair. The labor movement knows these emotions very well, and we know how to overcome them. As recently as a few months ago, the so-called president of South Korea decided that he wanted to be president for life. He decided, you know what, we don't need any more elections. We don't need democratic rights. It's getting in my way of doing what I want to do, what the rich want me to do. So he decided martial law. That's it. South Korea's short experiment in democracy had come to another end. And the labor movement said, fuck that. Their version of the AFL-CIO decided an indefinite general strike would be launched until he ended martial law. We're not any different than South Korean workers, right? This country does not run without workers. The rich are not rich without workers. They're rich off our backs. So we have to shut it down.
That's right.
What was the expression from the George Floyd movement when 35 million Americans took to the street? If we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
if we don't get it,
Shut it down!
all right. First, we got to get organized. You know, 90% of workers are not in a union. Step one, talk to your coworkers. Step two, what are you doing next Thursday? It's May Day. It's May Day. It's time to party. That's the party for the international working class, okay? Everybody around the world is going to be partying. What are you doing? Well, I would like to see you at the Williston Hannafords. We're going to start at Majestic 10. We're going to rally. We're going to march. Where are we marching? We're marching to the ICE Data Facility Center. We're marching to the Death Star.
That's right.
And we need to let ICE know and let this community know that we do not support ICE in this town, in this state.
That's right.
We cannot have a democracy with ICE walking around with masks and deporting people. So I'd like to see you on Thursday at May Day.
Thank you, Theo. Everyone, go to May Day. It'll be big. It'll be good. Okay. From Palestine to Mexico, these border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico, these border walls have got to go.
From Palestine to Mexico,
From Palestine to Mexico,
these border walls have got to go.
these border walls have got to go.
That's right. Just like some of us said, what happens anywhere can happen here and is happening here. People are being abducted, taken, deported, detained. Next up, we have Will Lambeck from Migrant Justice.
Hello, everybody. My name is Will Lambeck. I'm with the organization Migrant Justice, a human rights organization founded and led by immigrant farm workers in Vermont. And on behalf of Migrant Justice, I want to say, Free Mohsen, free political prisoners, and free Palestine. I have some difficult news to share. On Monday night in Franklin County, Vermont, armed Border Patrol agents entered a dairy farm, chased farm workers through the barns, and arrested 8. These workers are now being held behind bars for the sole crime of coming to Vermont to search for a better life. Jesus, Juan, Luis, Urias, Max, Adrian, Jose, and Danny are being held in Swanton, Vermont, and are at risk of deportation. The purpose of these sorts of arrests, the purpose of attacks against immigrants, whether it's ICE detaining a Palestinian student at his citizenship interview, or whether it's Border Patrol detaining farm workers, is to try to cow us into silence. They want us to be afraid. And that fear is real, but when I look out on this crowd, I don't see a people who are afraid. Are you afraid? No! They think that the fear will keep us silent, but I don't see a people who will be silent. Will you be silent? No! That's good, because the best defense against deportation is an organized community. There are 2 things we need to do to fight to free the detained farm workers. 1, join us in the streets again tomorrow, 6 p.m. at the bottom of Church Street to march and rally to free the farm workers. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock in front of City Hall. Will you be there? Yes! And the next thing is, we are going to be fighting to win the release of these farm workers, and we need your support to do that. So go to Migrant Justice's social media, go to our Instagram where we've just posted a petition, add your name, calling for freedom for farm workers and demanding the release of these 8 detained members. So see you in the streets tomorrow night, and then see you in the streets on May Day to demand milk with dignity. Thank you very much.
Martin Luther King said a long time ago, a threat to justice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are living that today. A threat to justice for Palestinians in Palestine is a threat to justice here in the United States. Our movement knows no borders. We stand for everyone, for migrants, for Palestinians, for anybody under attack, anybody suffering under oppression. We are for solidarity without exception. That's why we proudly raise the chant of the migrant labor movement, Si se puede, 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 si se puede. Again, show up on May Day, where we are going to bring the labor movement, the migrant justice movement, the Palestine solidarity movement together in Williston to march on the ICE data facility and to support Hannaford, the day-long picket that Migrant Justice has organized against Hannaford in Williston. So be there. Last up, we have speakers from UVM Students for Justice in Palestine. This is extremely important because the attack on Mohsen Mahmoud and Rumeisa is the first step to attack on all rights to speak, organize, assemble, and protest on campuses across the United States. They're doing it at Middlebury. There is no doubt they will do it at UVM. That means we have to defend Mohsen, Rumeisa, and Mahmoud and all Palestine solidarity activists in order to defend UVM Students for Justice in Palestine. So please give it up for Joe and Zane from SJP at UVM.
Thank you all for being here. We are the students of the University of Vermont, and we will not be silent as students all around the world are kidnapped for the crime of opposing genocide. We have no speech for you today. We all know why we are here. But we have marched down from our campus with our professors, with our staff, and with our graduate students. with UVM staff united, with graduate students united, with united academics, the unions of our campus, to embody that if you come for one of us, you will have to face all of us. And that's why we're going to chant union power. Union power! Union power! Union power! Union power! Raise your fist in the air. Union power! Union power! Union power! Union power! And we are going to see you all on May 1st to march on the ICE data facility with workers from all over the state.
All right, we're here because we're angry. We are very angry because there are students being detained for speaking out against the genocide. There are students not allowed to see the birth of their child because they are speaking out against genocide. We are angry about that. We're angry that there's $8 billion going to bomb children approved by Congress of our money, and we don't have health care, and we don't have a social net for our children, and we don't have the Department of Education, and there is $8 billion going to bomb children. Shame! Shame! And there is a war. There is a war. Now, I'm not talking about Palestine. That's not war. That's a genocide. But there is a war on our communication. And it doesn't stop with free speech. It's about the algorithms, because the same Zionist oligarchs who are in power want you on your phones. They want you to stay in your circles. They don't want you to talk to people, because that is where the power lies. That is where organization lies. When we talk one-on-one, when you talk to your cousins, your racist uncles, your nephews, everyone you can about Palestine. That is not in school. That is not after school. That is every moment of your life. Because in one-on-one conversations, they will agree with you. They will agree with everything you're saying. So we need to have those conversations. That's how we win. Thank you. From Vermont to Palestine, jailing students is not a crime. From Vermont to Palestine, jailing students is a crime.
From Vermont to Palestine,
From Vermont to Palestine,
jailing students is a crime.
jailing students is a crime.
From Vermont to Palestine,
From Vermont to Palestine,
jailing students is a crime.
jailing students is a crime. Give it up for the UVM students. Their fight is our fight. One of the requests that we've gotten from Mohsen's attorneys and from Mohsen himself is that we sing "We Shall Overcome" as he goes to stand on his trial inside the federal building today. So there have been sheets passed out with the lyrics to "We Shall Overcome." For people who don't know, and people who do know, this is the anthem of the civil rights movement. This is the anthem of the Palestinian liberation struggle, because black liberation is bound up with Palestinian liberation, is bound up with workers' liberation from Palestine to the United States to every corner of this world. So please give it up to Jess and Kat, who are going to lead us in the singing of "We Shall Overcome," and belt it out so that Mohsen can hear us.
Thank you. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe
Last one. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday. Thank you. Free Mohsen! That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Jesse and Kat, and everyone for singing with us here today for Mohsen. I'm sure he could hear us, and hopefully he's in good spirits. All right, just a few announcements before we close out. First and foremost, if anyone wants to go inside the courthouse, I believe people are still entering to support Mohsen. And next, we have some announcements, some that may have already been said, but we really want to drive them home. On Saturday the 26th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., we have the Union Power Conference and Strike School at the One Community Center. This Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the One Community Center. We also have on Saturday at 6 p.m. the screening of The Encampments, which is the documentary that was made at Columbia University, where Mahmoud Khalil was a leader in that movement, in the encampment movement. So you don't want to miss that at Main Street Landing. If you need to get tickets, that is on the PSL Instagram. You can get the link there. That's this Saturday. On Monday, the 28th, at 5:30 p.m., we have a Burlington City Council rally for the free speech resolution. The rally will be from 5:30 to 6:30. 6:30 starts public hearing. So please come for the rally and to speak. And then lastly, we have May Day. Woo-hoo! May 1st, we have a big day. It is going to be at the Williston Bandstand right near that movie theater. We will rally at the State House lawn at 4:30 p.m. And then, oh wait, what is that?
There are two events. Do you want me to explain it? All right, there are two May Day events. There's one in Montpelier that starts at 4:30, and then in Burlington, Chittenden County area, we have a rally that starts outside the Majestic Theater in that green space at the bandstand. We're going to assemble there starting at 5, then march to the ICE data facility because we want ICE the hell out of our state, and then we're going to rally. We're going to rally with migrant justice at Hannaford. So everybody be there on May Day. Bring your coworkers, bring your signs, bring your placards, bring your banners, bring your friends. We need to have a mobilized Vermont to free Mohsen, to free Rumesa, to free Mahmoud, to free them all, and to free Palestine. Just a word on the plan now. So the hearing is started, and we're going to have to go silent now after I'm done giving this last announcement. We have been in touch with the attorney's team, and we are going to wait here until the hearing is over. And just like with Rumesa, we will hopefully hear from the attorneys about the results from the hearings. So those who have to leave early, please leave the signs and flags. This is not a corporate-funded movement. This is a people-powered and people-funded movement because we don't want to have golden shackles on our struggle. We want to be a free struggle. So all those were the result of donations, so don't take them home because we need them for the next rally, which is tomorrow night, for the migrant justice struggle to free the 8 political prisoners of American apartheid who were abducted yesterday. So please leave those if you have to leave. Those that stay, really stay, because it's very important that we're here as witnesses to the struggle that Mohsen is involved in, that we're a part of, and that everybody around the world is a part of to free Palestine. So we're going to go silent, stay here. Those who have to leave, leave the flags and banners and placards. But thank you all for coming out. Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now!
Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now! Free Mohsen now! Thank you, everybody.
All right, well, if I don't see you, I'll see you later.
Okay.
All right.
There'll be a video. I'm trying to place this. Yes.
But probably doing that.
You opened the door. Doesn't matter.
Rebecca, let's go closer to this.
That's one of my favorite.
I think a lot of people actually like.
I was like, oh my God.
There, so we're here at 11 Elmwood Ave at the Federal Building. As you can probably see in his footage, there's hundreds of people here already. So my name's Dylan. I'm a Burlington resident. It's just an honor to be here. Unfortunately, I mean, it sucks to be here too, because we're here on behalf of a lot of people who've been killed, a lot of money that's went to ends that are not just, and you know, the situation in Gaza and the West Bank and the apartheid and the genocide. But we're also here to speak on behalf of Mohsen and Mahmoud Khalil. I had the chance to meet Mohsen in 2021. He's a personal friend of mine. We protested together here in Burlington. And Mohsen is a very, very kind person, very, very well-spoken person, extremely intelligent. He's a very, very special guy, so I'm not surprised that there's so much commotion going around in Mohsen, because this is part of his destiny to speak on behalf of his people. So just a big shout out to everybody in Vermont and everybody in Burlington. Just want to say that everybody deserves due process, and that we're going to keep fighting for justice and peace, and for a legal standard and a foreign policy that we can stand with and that we can agree with. So I appreciate you, Ali Haji Jafari, my neighbor. We're out here in Burlington supporting free speech.
My name is Michelle Edelman McCormick, and I'm a resident of Marshfield, Vermont, and I'm out here today with the Vermont Coalition for Palestinian Liberation to show support for Mohsen's status hearing today at the courthouse. He, as folks know, showed up for what he was told to be a citizenship hearing and was instead abducted and arrested, by all accounts unlawfully. Not having committed any crime, and the only thing that the federal government has pointed to is that he has stood up and spoken out against the genocide that's happening in Palestine, which many of us have. Thousands, hundreds of thousands across the United States have stood up against this, bipartisan supported genocide that's been occurring in Palestine for the last year and a half. And but in his case, he's sitting in a prison cell for exercising his right to free speech. And I've been seeing a lot of commentary on social media, and it's really surprising to see the number of people who are confused about what our right to free speech really is. And that's expected to extend to all residents in the United States, and I think it's really important for people to speak out broadly about what's happening. This is an attack on our right to free speech in the entire country, and if it's this today, what will it be tomorrow? Who will they come for next for speaking their mind and having an opinion that may be contrary to one administration or the next administration? And once we allow our rights to be eroded, we'll never get them back. So we have to stand up and fight back.
There was a discussion by the government of a memo that was filed The second thing I want to tell you is the judge was very clear in his surprise of the 94 letters that were received on Mohsen's behalf. And yes, thank you to everyone who wrote a letter. He, I think, remarked that that was the first of that type of response, and normally he just hears from the sisters and mothers of those, but to hear from 94 folks from a diverse community, including members of the Jewish community, was relatively remarkable to him. So so thank you for that. There was a lot of talk about something called 1252G and 1252B. I don't know what that is. We will be back here again next Wednesday. We will be back here again because the two questions that were left at the end of the day, I believe they did not decide, was the jurisdiction and then the detainment. And the question of what goes first was discussed, and detainment of Mohsen, that his lawyers can speak to more, they feel is an unjust constitutional action. Every day that he's in jail is just one more day of unjust constitutional action. And I think the judge was receiving of that information, and there was a line that was said while we were in there that I'm not going to get completely correct, but it was essentially, the judge said that he believes that if there was a caravan of vehicles, SUVs, that arrived to take him, that there must be something more to that there must be a reason. And yeah, and I think we all know the reason. I think we don't need to hear what that reason is. It's for fear. But what we will hear is next Monday, the government must provide the merits of why they have taken him. And then there will be 24 hours for response by the legal team, and then we will come back Wednesday of next week to find out about the release potential and also the jurisdictional threshold. And if there's anyone else who has more clarity on that, again, not a lawyer, I had a notepad.
He tried to emphasize to the judge the significance of this case, not being about Mohsen's comfort and safety. What the petition that Mohsen's lawyers put forward today, basically in a word, was release him. Release him today. Let him walk out of this court because the government's case is so clearly without merit, so obviously without merit, and so obviously an infringement on the rights. And then Attorney Mehta went on to say that for every single day that Mohsen is held, well, the entire rest of the country and the rest of the world, I might add, looks on, recognizing that he is held without basis, the fear of marginalized communities goes up. There are, according to Mehta, there are over millions of students who are non-citizens in this country who are watching what is going on here and realizing that if they publish anything against American foreign policy, they end up being subject to the same thing that Mohsen is being subject to. So I wanted to highlight that. It was, for me personally, a huge disappointment that Mohsen was not released today. He must be released a week from today. I feel that there is a completely sound basis for releasing him from today. The government has presented absolutely nothing to justify not doing that. Absolutely nothing to separate what they're up to from a blatant suppression of freedom of speech, which apply to Mohsen and apply to all people in this nation. We have a sympathetic judge. The judge was clearly moved not only by the 94 letters, he was moved by all of us being out here. He was moved by all of the people that went into the courthouse and sat in the 60 people that went in and sat in those rows. So I wanted to mention that to you because that's not an incidental point for a week from today. That's right. Please do come back a week from today and fill up every single seat on behalf of Mohsen. Thank you.
It's good to start. We ready? Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Luna Druby. I'm one of Mohsen Mahdawi's lawyers. And, you know, we're here today because we called for his immediate release. What the government provided thus far only establishes that the only basis they have to currently detaining him in the manner they did is his lawful speech. They cede that it is lawful speech. Today, we feel like we have a secondary win. We got an extension of a TRO, which maintains this court's jurisdiction. So, we intend on being back in 1 week's time to free Mohsen. Thank you. I'm going to turn to my colleague, Mr. Mehta. He's going to read some words that we just got from Mohsen just a moment ago.
Can you tell us your first and last name, please, and spell them?
Luna, L-U-N-A, Druby, D-R-O-U-B-I.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
What would the probability be of him being freed in a week's time?
It's hard to say. Well, we feel hopeful because, as I said, the government has provided no basis whatsoever other than an admission that they did so based on his lawful speech.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Cyrus Mehta. I'm on Mohsen's legal team with Luna and colleagues David and Michael and Andrew. Cyrus, C-Y-R-U-S, last name Mehta, M-E-H-T-A. And Mohsen is not losing hope at all. And he told me to read out this statement, which I quickly scribbled. And I may hesitate a bit because I sometimes don't understand my own writing. I don't want people to lose hope. Stay positive and believe in the inevitability of justice. This hearing is part of the system of democracy. It prevents a tyrant from having unchecked power. I am in prison, but I'm not imprisoned. A system of democracy guarantees freedom of speech. Speaking of Palestine does not only qualify as freedom of speech, but it is also about our humanity.
Yes!
Keep the hope alive. I will see you under the sun. Yes.
All right, we can take 3 or 4 questions if folks have them from the press.
One thing you mentioned in court was this is obviously, we're stating here in Burlington, Vermont, and there's a ripple effect of him being a Vermonter, but this has a ripple effect nationally. Can you expand more?
Absolutely. There are 12.1 million green card holders who are not citizens. If they say something that this administration disfavors, they could face the same fate as Mohsen. They could get picked up and placed in deportation and in the meanwhile be arrested in the same way. Therefore, this case has great importance. Today, Mohsen has been arrested for his speech involving Palestine, but it could involve other speech that this administration may disfavor. It's very important to assert in this case that the government can't arrest and detain you if you've exercised your constitutional rights under the First Amendment. We want to get him released to affirm this principle as soon as possible. Their modus operandi was to take him out of the state as quickly as possible, as they've done with the other detainees. By the way, these are all students, you know, they're not hardened criminals or anything. And they tried to take him out of the state so they could then move him to Louisiana. It would be more difficult for him to do a habeas there and also fight his immigration court proceedings in Louisiana. So that's why they tried to do that. But we moved very quickly, and we filed a habeas within 1 hour of him being detained when he went for a citizenship interview. And we got the temporary restraining order while he was still in Vermont. They were trying to get him out of the state, but he missed that flight to New York, and then he believed that they had then bought tickets beyond New York to Louisiana. So he missed that flight, and then the TRO came, and he told us that the agents' faces kind of fell. They were very disappointed. So we've kept him here, and we got 3 more months. So this was a victory. We are very hopeful that he will be released. We got that wipe from the judge today in the court. He said that he had read the 94 letters that were submitted for his bail motion. The judge pointed out that normally these letters come from family members like your spouse and children, but he saw letters from the whole spectrum of society, from professors, from people who are Jewish also, from organizations. He was very impressed with the scope of these letters.
Matt?
That just answered my question, actually.
Despite those letters, the judge says along the lines that the feds clearly showed up with a slew of SUVs and agents, and that was kind of his answer to why he's not released today. What's your reaction to that statement, and why we're still standing here with him in custody?
I think this judge is just trying to be careful, and if he wants to decide anything in Mohsen's favor, he wants to make sure that if there's an appeal, it would be we would be able to defend it. So this bail motion was filed on Monday night, actually very late Monday night into the early hours of Tuesday morning. It's a terrific motion. It has all the arguments, and the key issue is, I think what the judge seemed to agree is that this court has jurisdiction to hear the bail motion. The government is trying very hard to argue that a federal court has no jurisdiction. It should be started in immigration court. There is a case in immigration court, but that will take years, by the time it goes to the Court of Appeals. So at least, the saving grace is that this judge accepted our argument that this court has jurisdiction to hear the bail motion and the habeas petition. But he just wanted to give the government time to file a response. And I think overall it is positive. I think our legal team also agrees that they did kind of feel positive about the fact that the judge wants to move quickly. And he realizes that this is a case of great importance for this country. The thing that I also wanted to let you all know is that we are immigration lawyers. David and I, we're part of the same firm. We do many, many immigration cases in immigration court. We've never seen something like this. When the government wants to deport someone, they don't kind of, get 4 or 5 cars with unarmed agents who are masked. Generally, normally, over the years, you get a letter, a notice to appear, normally in the mail, to appear for a hearing. And then you can actually appear for the hearing and defend your charges over the course of time. And then you go home after the first hearing. Then you have a second hearing after a couple of years. That's when you're outside detention. You do your hearing. If you win, great. If not, you can appeal, but you can still go home. What we're seeing here is unprecedented, where they are so hell-bent on detaining students from good universities in our country. These are not hardened criminals. These are people who have not been charged with any crime, and they have also not been charged under any of the other deportation provisions of the Immigration Act. We went in to meet Mohsen today and to go through these one door opening, the other door opening, just for a student in an Ivy League university is atrocious. And we should not be standing for it. But we as lawyers are going to try to chip away and affirm this principle in this court, hopefully.
Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. But the fact that they have abducted him and the fact they have sent 10 SUVs with and marked SUVs and those who abducted Mohsen, this is abduction, this is kidnapping, really, you know, and they had ski masks on. I mean,
I think if by the time the government responds, they have till next Monday. Next Monday to respond. Let's see what they have.
so yeah, we
Let's
want to
see
bring
what
him
they
home.
have.
I am his mom. I want to bring him home. Okay, I'm not his. I didn't give birth to him, but he's a son of my heart. For the past 10 years, he grew up with my
even though we are his lawyers, we are all part of his family.
Yes.
And part of the movement.
Yeah, because
We believe.
to us, it looked like this is personal between the government or between Trump and Mohsen. I'm like, seriously? So this is really, it does give us a heartache that really, this is a Trump style, I guess. You know, abduct, kidnap, torture. Yep. So, but thank you.
If you
guys
guys
did
could
an awesome
address
job.
the
Thank you
crowd,
so
we have a
much.
mic. So if you would like to make a statement to the protest, we've been here since 7:30 this morning, and we would love to hear from our people's lawyers. So please come and speak, even if it's just short.
Go ahead.
I've got a mic over here.
Thank you all.
For 30 years, but it's not. The hurdles have become even more, but we're here to continue fighting. This case is very important because we want to assert that non-citizens in the United States have a right to free speech. You may not always like the speech, you may not always agree with it, but you still need to have the right to assert it without this kind of retaliation that Mohsen has faced. There is absolutely no need in a non-criminal civil deportation proceeding to have 10 SUV cars to pick up a non-citizen and then try to whisk them into some maximum security jail 1,000 miles away. We stopped that with a temporary restraining order. Today we got another 90 days of an extension of that temporary restraining order. We will continue to fight until he gets released, hopefully next week. We did kind of get positive vibes from the judge, but anything can happen in a court. So we, as I always say to my clients, I can't guarantee anything. I can just guarantee that we will do our best. But we do hope that next Wednesday will bring good news. And if we do get this release on bail, it will be a great victory because Mohsen will still have to fight his deportation in another immigration court, but at least he will be free while he fights it. And this is how it is for people in deportation proceedings. They don't arrest you in this way. You can attend your hearing and go home and come for the next hearing without any fear of, even if they want to put you in deportation. But the way they have behaved with him is atrocious, and that's why we all need to fight for him in the courts and in the court of public opinion, which all of you are doing admirably. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Cyrus and all the legal team. They're fighting for all of us, and we're fighting for them. We stand in solidarity with the legal team.